Yes, you can live a normal life after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why it is possible and also how to make it your reality. 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and after going through the traditional way that didn't help me, I started studying and diving into the science and the proof of how we can heal the body, manipulated to coming back to its power and starting to heal. I ended up reversing all the symptoms, never having another flare-up or symptoms showing up, and for years I've been helping individuals do the same thing. So I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to know so it becomes your reality. So with multiple sclerosis, the immune system mistakenly attacks the myelin sheath, which is the protective sheath around the nerves in the central nervous system, and then it disrupts the communication between the brain and the body. So the brain sends signals that don't really get to the body the way it should be, and therefore you're feeling a different experience in your body or some limitations in movement. So number one, let's start with the brain. The brain is not a static organ. It's actually a dynamic system that adapts and changes all the time in response to experiences, to thoughts, to emotions, and to actions that we take in our lives. You might have heard about neuroplasticity. That's exactly what it is. The ability of the brain to adapt and rewire in response to changes that we make or experience. So let's say there's damage to a nerve in your body, and now you can't make this movement the way you used to before. You want to move the hand, the brain is sending the signal, but the signal doesn't get there, and either your movement is slower or it just doesn't get there and you cannot move the hand at all, right? It can slow it down and it can block the movement. What most people don't know is that the brain can rewire and send signals to replace the original signals, create new pathways around the damaged area that will still get to the same area that you're trying to move. So the original path is damaged and is not working well, but you can train your brain to create new pathways that will create the same result in the hand in that example. Imagine there is a road. You're driving on the road and you're getting to a street that leads to your destination, but you can't go because there is some road work. Just like you can take a different road, reroute around and still get to the same destination, the same exact thing can happen in your body if you train your brain to adapt to these new pathways. So what you need to know here the most is that your brain is habitual, just like we are habitual beings. We get to teach it a new way, and then we get to repeat it over and over for it to adapt to that new way. And if we don't do it, what happens is, just like us with habits, it will go back and do the things that it was used to doing before. So you can train it for the new pathways, and then you need to repeat it to do the same work that will make your brain keep using those new pathways until that basically becomes the new way of your brain to achieve that outcome, the movement in the hand in that example. This is, by the way, what's behind chronic pain that doesn't go away even when the cause for the pain is gone. From an accident, let's say. Somebody had an accident, car accident, and the area in the body has healed already, but the pain lingers. It doesn't go away. Why? Because the brain got used to sending pain signals for so long that now what happens is that it misinterprets harmful sensations as pain. That's the main thing that I want you to know about it. But also, here is another thing that's really important for those of you who are living with chronic symptoms and you heard that healing is not possible. I've personally worked with people that were living with MS, with damage for years, that they thought they could never heal, and doctors told them, you can slow down progression, you might feel okay, but the damage cannot be healed. And then we focused on healing their body, and guess what? They went to get tested, and not only did they gain movement back, but the test showed that the nerve has healed. So my invitation for you, don't believe anyone that says you cannot heal, because the body is brilliant. And if you train it and show it a path to healing, you'll be surprised what it can do. Number two, let's talk about your genes. Almost every person that got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis heard from their doctor something like, we don't know why it happened, you have the genes for this disease, there's nothing to do about it, and that's just how life's going to be. So let's talk about the genes for a moment. In the far, far past, we used to think that the genes are the cause for everything that shows up in our body. Neuroscience, if you heard of epigenetics, basically found completely different results, or more like I should say, different truth that we're aware of now, and it completely negates that belief that the genes are the cause. What they basically found is that the genes, yes, they're there, and yes, we cannot change them, but what makes people have a certain disease or certain symptoms or conditions, even when they're chronic, is not the genes themselves. It's the way the genes are being expressed. Basically, you can have the same genes that you have now that are related to the symptoms or the condition that you're living with, MS in this case, but those genes can be turned off for your whole life. And despite having them, you can be as healthy as one can be. Imagine for a moment, a light bulb can be there, but can be turned off, and it can be turned on. That is exactly the same as the genes. Yes, I probably have the genes that are correlated with multiple sclerosis because I got diagnosed with it and it showed up in my body. And I made changes that made me live without any sign of it or any symptom of it. So let's talk about how it works. What the study of epigenetics found and is teaching us is that the environment around the genes is what's going to determine the signals that are being sent to the genes and controlling how they're going to be expressed. Epigenetics. The word epi means above the genes. What's above the genes, the environment, is what's in charge of the activation. So what is the environment? What is it that's in charge of the way that my body behaves and whether it attacks itself or not? What they found is that the way that we think, the way that we feel, our emotions, sounds super not connected, right? That's not what our doctors are talking about with us. The way that we think, the way that we feel, the things that we do in our life, the actions, the choices that we take, the lifestyle that we adopt, all of this plays a part into the expression of our genes. So you have genes in your body that can be related to different conditions, and there are genes in your body that are related to healing. So even if you were diagnosed with MS and life has been really hard and you've been living with a lot of symptoms and it really been taking a toll on you, if you will make changes in the way that you think, we work with the subconscious mind when we start healing. That's how we create incredible results. So you will start making changes to the way that you think and then to the way that you feel, because it's related. The way that we think and the way that we feel are very much related to each other. And then change your lifestyle in a way that's conducive with the body healing. You'll be surprised that not only symptoms that have been chronic, sometimes maybe some of you are living with them for decades, can disappear in a very short amount of time. On average, with multiple sclerosis, I'm seeing a drastic reduction of symptoms between 2 to 4 weeks when we do this work. So even if it's been hard, I want you to hear what I'm saying here. You have the power to impact the way the genes in your body are working. That truly brings the power back to you with a disease that really can make us feel like we lost all power and control in our life. Number 3, inflammation. With multiple sclerosis, you'd find chronic inflammation in the body. Inflammation is always there in the human body. Everybody has, it's actually a healthy response that the body is able to tap into in order to help in healing processes. But there is a limit. We're not supposed to have a lot of inflammation, chronic inflammation. And the moment that there is chronic inflammation, now the body is constantly fighting that, focusing on that, and not on other things that it's supposed to be focusing on. So another thing that will help you live normal life with MS and not let it take over your freedom and your independence and your happiness is giving a lot of focus on reducing inflammation. The easiest way to start impacting the level of inflammation in the body is with diet. It's important for me to mention here that actually thoughts and anxiety or worrying a lot can also increase inflammation and has a huge impact on that. But the easiest way to really start taking actions towards it and reduce drastically the inflammation is with food. So what you want to be doing is, number 1, you want to remove from your diet any items that can support inflammation in the body or even be related to the process the body is doing when the inflammation is being created. So it's not only inflammatory foods, it can also be foods that are related to creating more inflammations in the body. And then you want to focus on eating more food that helps the body in the process of healing and repairing damage. Yes, food, the right food, can help the body repair damage, even the damage caused by MS. The damage they tell you cannot be healed. So less inflammatory food, more food that can create more healing in the body, and start eating in a way that can also bring back the power to your immune system. Now, this is going against what you've learned probably, because what most doctors tell us is that you need to start taking medications to shut off your immune system because it's going rogue and it attacks itself. So how about we quiet it down? But you need your immune system to protect you. This is one of the reasons a lot of people that are going on medication start developing other conditions and other issues in their health, because now their immune system is being suppressed to avoid flare-ups. But what if you will strengthen your immune system and stop the confusion? Because that's what it is. The body thinks that your nerves, your body is something foreign that needs to be attacked. Because that's the issue with the immune system. It's confused and it's thinking that parts of your body are actually not part of you. They're harmful and your body needs to attack them to protect you from them. But when we talk about deep healing, we talk about stopping the confusion. So A, stopping the confusion of the immune system, but B, strengthening it so it can actually start protecting you. If you were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, do not get discouraged. It doesn't mean life is over like many people feel. You can get your freedom and health back and definitely live a normal life with MS. I'm going to keep sharing a lot more tools, tips, and information on how to achieve these results. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel and I'll send you more soon.